Would I recommend Trainwell? Today, I wanted to dive into my honest, non-sponsored review of Trainwell, which is formerly known as Copilot Fitness. It is a personal trainer virtual fitness coach app where they're able to tailor specific workouts to what you need. Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Monica. If you're new here, I've actually been using this for about 2 years. Specifically, I've been using it for 611 days and I've done a total of 256 workouts. I'll put my stats right here. I really wanted to be able to share with you guys my journey using this app, what I like, what I don't like. I actually stumbled upon this app watching a YouTube video from one of my favorite creators, and they had a sponsored video on Trainwell. But one of the things that lacked in that video was the person had only been using it for a month, and I think it's very important that we see creators who have been using the product for a while so that we're able to get an honest opinion about what this particular app has to offer. I've been using this for 2 years. It has been quite a journey, and I've even changed coaches multiple times to find the right fit for different stages of my life, which has been such a game changer for me. So let me get into the details. So when I first started, I was searching on the internet for apps that can help with personal training. I was very intimidated going to maybe do a in-person personal training session. I was such a beginner. I had started my first year of just incorporating movement in my routine, just using free workouts on the internet. I even at some point use Beachbody, which I don't necessarily recommend. I think it's a good starting point, but I really wanted something more tailored to me. I did find sometimes things that are on the internet, it's a great start way, but once you're ready to really tailor something that fits for you, I think it's important to find something or someone that can help support you. I knew that I didn't have a lot of knowledge on fitness, on how to move my body the right ways, proper form, things like that. So I stumbled upon Trainwell, and it was such a great, like at first I'm like, oh, okay, this is such a great app. Like I can really benefit from it. And at the time, I think I did a month trial, so it was really helpful for that. But I was looking for something really flexible that could fit into my busy schedule. I'm a therapist, I'm a content creator, and I have a lot on my plate. So having the option of a virtual personal trainer was something that really appealed to me, because being able to have just like that human connection was so important. Like I think having that human connection on top of it being a more affordable choice, because I did get quotes from like personal trainers, and it was a little bit more than what I could afford at the time. And again, no hate to personal trainers or anything. I think that doesn't mean that a personal trainer is not the right fit for you, like in person. But for me, I really needed something that I could just start and commit to and not going back and forth with quitting. I knew I wasn't ready to go to a gym. Like a lot of us can be intimidated by the gym, especially we don't know what we're doing or what the equipment is. So I really just wanted to start with the equipment that I had. That was another thing that appealed to the app. So you can actually let your trainer know what equipment you have, and then they customize the workouts using just that equipment. Or if you don't have any equipment, then they will personalize those workouts to just do, body weight type stuff. So it really just depends what your goals are. But I've had moments where I would purchase gym memberships only to pay for months and never actually go, or maybe go once, or also buying equipment that collected dust. And I was tired of my own shit. Like I was just tired of not feeling consistent with myself when it came to movement. I was tired of just not sticking to something, and I really just needed that like place of support. So getting started was actually really simple. I'll share a little tutorial. Like getting started is pretty simple. Like you download the app, you go through a few questions about your goals, and then you're matched with a coach. And something that I do like about this app, it'll give you an option of like the type of trainer that you want. Like some people really like trainers that are very direct. Some people like more trainers that are more empathetic and compassionate and are able to kind of guide you. And I don't know, when I think of trainers, I feel like, the people who are screaming at you like boot camp type style. And I know that's such a skewed way of thinking. That's how I thought of trainers. I'm glad that this had an option to pick what kind of style of trainer you wanted in terms of like your communication style. So I really like that. And then I like that it took my goals and preferences into account to find a good initial match. So then you get started, you get matched with a coach, and then you get a 40-minute kind of consultation with them just to chat about how to get started, what workouts you want to start, what feels realistic. So they're able to program like what days you want to work out. You can even talk about challenges. I do think this is where I think I would have liked them to do a little better in their like intake is all the trainers ask like specific questions, but I wish they would have asked me like what have been your challenges in the past, like things like that, which I thought was missing. It wasn't until like later on where I've switched a couple of trainers that I noticed some like every trainer had different questions that they asked. And so I think some trainers ask specific questions while others, so like I think that's important too, because if you're someone coming in with a lot of resistance, or you need to be asked specific questions to know what the problem is. I think that's the therapist in me where I'm like, I need somebody to ask me the right questions to challenge me, because I won't be challenging myself if this is something like a mental barrier for me. So that was one of the things that I think could improve, in the sense of like maybe having just like maybe surveying people about what are some of the questions that need to be asked at the beginning to make sure someone is starting off on the right foot or is asking the right questions. I think when we ask the right questions, we're able to see the more of the root of the issue or the goals that they want to, accomplish. So that's kind of one of the things that I saw. And then another thing that I really enjoyed about Trainwell is, so once you do that 40-minute session, and your trainer will then program all of your workouts, which is really cool. And what my trainer did at the beginning was we did like 4 weeks. So 4 weeks around the same, like basically the same workouts, but we progressed them as the weeks came by. And I really loved that. And I realized that I really like supersets. I realized that I really liked a lot of things that I just didn't know about. I knew, and I could tell my trainer if I needed more rest time. I could tell my trainer if I needed to be, like at the time I said, I can only do 20-minute workouts. Like I know that that's what's going to keep me consistent. I know that any more than that, I will probably fall off, because I know it's not going to be the right fit for me. I'm going to fall off. So let's just start at 20, and then we can build up to more time or more reps as I progress. So I really liked that I could do that. But again, I had to advocate for myself for that. So even thinking about the questions that someone to ask, like what's the ideal amount of time you want to work out? So those are the questions I would have liked my coach to have asked me. Instead, I kind of advocated for myself on that. But again, the trainer was so great at like the technical side of things, form, things like that. Again, that was my first experience. So one of the other things that I liked about it is when I felt like maybe my current trainer took me as far as they could, or how maybe it wasn't a good match. What I liked is that you could switch coaches without any conflict. So it was conflict free. It was just a button that you click and say like, I want a new coach. It gave you again a list of different profiles for personal trainers, and you get to pick who you switch with, and they inform your current coach about it. So it's really conflict free. Obviously, I would always encourage you to share with your coach if something is not right or isn't the right fit. But I did like that idea of like no conflict free. I think a lot of us are conflict avoidant, but this was helpful. It took away one less barrier of, maybe just falling out, or, maybe just falling out because it wasn't the right fit, instead of being able to give you the choice to switch to someone and try something new. So I really love that. I also like that it also gave a feedback survey to the trainer so that they could understand like why you left and things like that. So it's not like you completely ghosted them without any information. Like you could give them feedback in order to help them better understand how they can improve. Sometimes honestly, when I switch, because I think I did like a total of like 3 to 4 switches, whenever I switched, sometimes I just wanted something new. I just wanted a new person. Like I just like change, for just different seasons of my life, or I wanted to target different kinds of goals. So sometimes it wasn't even anything personal about the the coach itself. So I really love that. Sometimes you just need a coach who's focused on strength training. Sometimes you need a coach who's focused on mobility. Sometimes, you just need different things. So Trainwell really lets you make these changes as your priorities shift. And I think that's a huge benefit if you're like me and like to adapt your workouts to different seasons of life. So these are some of the key features that I personally stood out to me on top of just switching coaches. First off, the flexibility to push workouts is another thing. So I love that you could push your workouts. Let's just say you couldn't do it that day. You can push it one day ahead. And this was actually a feature that they ended up just releasing this past year, I believe. So before that, you couldn't do that, but you could at least now push it to one day. Now, it doesn't give you the flexibility to push that workout further out. You would have to communicate with your coach in order to push it out further out. If let's just say you have a Monday workout, I can push it to Tuesday. It only allows you to push it for one day forward, but I wouldn't be able to push that Monday workout to Wednesday. I would have to tell my coach. I think that could be annoying for some people if they are very like streak oriented. So they do have a feature, and your streak is based on how you have scheduled your workouts and following that routine, right? So if you didn't do your workout and you waited a couple of days, but you still did it, it wouldn't count that as a streak because it wasn't originally done on the day that it is like scheduled on the app. So that is something that could be annoying if you're someone that's very like streak, I don't know, like you like those kinds of challenges, like you like to have your streak. I think that can be annoying. So there's a feature that I love, but at the same time, like there could be some changes there. One of the other things that I absolutely loved about the app is that I could listen to my Spotify playlist while I work out, which music is such a huge motivator for me, and being able to pair my own playlist with the workout sessions makes the experience so much better for me. I really like that. I've seen some other apps that have changed their policy on having Spotify playlists or something like that. I didn't like that. So Trainwell I really like that you could do that. And something else that I really like is that when you are doing your workouts, it is your trainer's voice prompting you to the next workout. I love the ability to be able to know that it's like a person that I've personally connected with, whether that's virtually, like that's the person that is like speaking to that. So it kind of gives you that effect of like if you were in person with them and they would be pushing you. I love that. So that's another feature that I really, really loved and stood out to me because I hadn't seen anything like that before. I love how the app does show you your progress, especially if you're progressing to certain weights, things like that. I really like that. So again, I love that. I also like that in the workout, if you need to drop the weight or change reps or change something, you could actually edit as you're doing your workouts. I like that. You could give feedback to your coach so that next time they could adjust whatever needs to be adjusted. This new feature that I think they're just rolling out or have just rolled out is a feature where you can put a different, like if, let's just say I told my coach that I had this specific equipment, but like recently I had moved and all my equipment was packed. I like that I could have the option to pick a different equipment, different workout for that specific exercise movement if I didn't have the equipment available. So I did like that. I still think it's a very beta because there's sometimes some suggestions that I'm like, I don't know if that makes sense. So that's the only thing that I would say I probably in development, they're still trying to work through those little glitches, but those are all the things that I personally love about Trainwell. Oh, and something else that I forgot to share. Another feature that I love with Trainwell is that it could connect to your Apple Watch, and it uses some type of technology to be able to make sure that you're kind of doing the proper form. So there'll be times where I'll be going so fast and my trainer will be like, slow down, and I could realize what I was doing, but it's because I have my Apple Watch connected to it. And I think it does Apple Watch. I know my husband has used this before, so he has the Google Watch. So it connects to a lot of watches. I would definitely recommend to check and see like what is compatible so that you make sure if that's something that you want to, if you want to kind of tap that feature, you can do it without an Apple Watch, but I like that it gives you a little bit more stats if you use your Apple Watch, like your heart rate, things like that. I like that. So that was a feature that I didn't mention, but it is a really good feature. Well, now some of the limitations, like I said, you can only You can only push your workout one day. Also, it doesn't register workouts you do outside of the app. Like, here's a screenshot example. So, like, I did Pilates one day and it would mark that I did it, right? So it like shows there. But if you see that little like circle, it doesn't give me like a little workout symbol. I know it's like not that serious, but again, if that's something that motivates, it just kind of feels like, okay, I only did like the Trainwell workouts and not workouts outside of this. So I would like for it to even be a different icon, like workout outside, like a workout, like it could be a different color with the, I don't know, that it symbolizes that you did a workout outside of the Trainwell app. So that's something that, again, not a big deal, not a deal breaker, but it is something that I noticed that it limits. Sometimes one of the issues is sometimes I can have issues connecting to Wi-Fi. That might be a user thing. I had a glitch a couple of times, but never major. Now, like I said, sometimes it can have connection issues, but it might be more of a user thing, like your Wi-Fi connection, things like that. Another limitation or challenge, I would say, is pricing. Pricing is an investment. I think you get more bang for your buck if you do the 3-month payment plan. So the plans are 1 month, 3 month, and I think an annual membership. So the 3 month, it comes down to just $100 a month, but you have to pay $300 right up front. I want to say it's like $300 or $297 up front. I think, yeah, $297. It's $297 up front for 3 months, which again, if you calculate, it's about $100 a month. I think that's a pretty doable amount for what the app offers. But if you just do the 1 month, I think it's $150. Also, during Black Friday, I would say too, like during Black Friday, they did have a 45% off plus doing that 2-week trial. I don't think that's already going on because I am posting this video probably in December. But they still do have that 2-week free trial. And I do have a link down below if you want to use it in order to try it out. I am part of now their affiliate program, not sponsored, but I am part of their affiliate program. So if somebody uses my link, I do get like credit for my own subscription. So I like that idea too, though. And you could do it too if you're someone who is using it and you want to recommend it to other friends. That is a way that I was able to offset costs sometimes because I was getting people to sign up for it and they loved it, and I think it's great. Like, I think when it comes to a great app, like it's easy to be able to share it. But yes, like pricing can be a little bit of a challenge if you are someone who has a lower budget for your fitness and health. Then yeah, it could become a challenge. But I personally think that it's worth the investment for yourself. I really think that even just starting out for 3 months, commit to something for 3 months, and I think that it could be helpful. Or even just commit for the 2-week trial first, and then see if it's going to be helpful for you, if it's something that you enjoy. Now, again, I wish that trial was a little bit longer. I think at the time when I started, I did get a month off. Like there was a deal going on. I did get a month free trial, and I think that was so great because it was able to give me enough time to. So I wish more apps would give a longer free trial, but I understand on a business perspective that might not be a good business practice. So 2-week trials are pretty norm in business practices. So that is something that I think is a limitation. But granted, if you compare it to personal training, some personal training may be like you might be paying $100 an hour for that personal trainer, rightfully so. But if you're someone who wants to have more of an affordable way to be able to see a personal trainer, then this could be a good outlet for you to make that investment. But all in all, would I recommend Trainwell? Absolutely. It's been such a reliable part of my fitness routine, and I think it's ideal for anyone who wants a flexible, supportive, and adaptive virtual training experience. I will say results may vary in terms of what you're looking for. Like I said, when you download the app, you will be prompted to set what goals you want, and you can talk to your coach about these goals, whether it's just getting into a workout routine or weight loss, which honestly for me wasn't necessarily a tool that I highly relied on for weight loss, because ultimately, so I had been using Trainwell I started I think in 2023. I've been using it and I really didn't see major changes because one of the things that I wasn't changing was nutrition. So I saw that it was highly beneficial to use this tool on top of focusing on nutrition. That's when I saw major changes. And I know some people pursue movement for weight loss, and I think that is one part of the equation. I think the other part is nutrition. I haven't really used it, like talked to my coach about nutrition or anything. I did work with a nutritionist and I did end up doing a caloric deficit, and that really helped change. Now, I think though Trainwell really helped my relationship with fitness and movement to change the things that I had, that I thought about. I thought of movement as something as like punishment, and I didn't. And you know, when you're doing things like movement shouldn't be punishment and shouldn't be bullying yourself to get fit. Movement should be something that's part of your self-care routine. It helps your mental health. It helps your physical health. There are so many benefits to movement. And if we're going in with just like an outcome-based goal, it's not going to be part of our habits. And when it's not part of our habits, it's going to be easily a thing that we fall off. So I really encourage that you use this as a tool to create consistent, healthy habits towards movement, as well as figuring out ways to see how you can incorporate better nutrition for yourself and what works for your body, because I think that's going to be so beneficial and helpful. And I'll share a little bit of before and afters for myself. Like, I saw this video the other day. I think this was like at the end of 2022, before I even started Trainwell. And I had started, like I said, working out through YouTube or using or going to workout classes and things like that. But I didn't see really any changes. I think the first 10 pounds were easy. And then after that, the first 10 pounds were easy when I incorporated movement, because I wasn't doing any movement before. And then when I incorporated the caloric deficit, it just helped so much. All this to say, like, this was me in 2022. And I just felt like I was not honoring, loving my body in the way that it needed to. And I felt like I preached a lot, like, to my clients about living a healthy lifestyle that works for you, yet I wasn't incorporating that in my life. And that was my biggest motivator. I wanted to be someone who walks the walk, you know. I didn't want to be someone who is sharing this kind of encouragement and support, yet I wasn't sharing it and encouraging myself in that manner. So I think it's very important that we think about our motivator for getting into apps like this. Like, I think this is really good for someone who really just wants to heal their relationship with movement and fitness and allow themselves a space to be not judged. Even though I've had like 3 or 4 trainers, all of them were so compassionate, so sweet and nice. And I think that I think Trainwell does a really good job of really putting people that care about this and care about helping other people, which I think is so great, because that means that they really are vetting out people and choosing people who want to be supportive and not necessarily, you know, preach weight loss or preach a certain like ideology, if that makes sense. So I think it's really important that we think about our motivation before we invest in something. So, but just to paint you a picture while doing Trainwell, plus focusing on my nutrition, I have lost roughly 20 pounds sustainably in the last few years. Like I said, I started 2023. We are now ending 2024. It was not quick, to be honest. I prefer it that way because it allowed me to change my habits, my mindset, not just hit a target by a certain time frame and just then going back to those habits again and gain the weight back. It's about taking care of myself in the first place. So whether you're just starting out or looking for something more personalized to keep you motivated long term, Trainwell has something for everyone. I do have a link, like I said, for a 2-week trial if you want to try it out. I wouldn't be recommending something that I didn't like myself. That's why I waited so long to do this video. I really wanted to make sure that it is something that I truly loved and cared about, and cared enough that I think that other people should use it, you know. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this review was super helpful for you. If you have any questions, please comment down below. I'm sure that there's more things that I could have mentioned about Trainwell, and maybe I'll do more in a depth video, or maybe I can interview my personal trainer, talk a little bit more about the app. But yeah, I hope you guys love this video. If you love videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys in my next video.